Hi, Dory Class here. I just kind of want to bring my 5 guiding principles conversations to a little bit of a close here in this wrap-up video. But before I do, I want to mention that I'm sitting in my yard, a place that I take pictures of regularly and post on my Facebook personal page with a reflection every morning and have for the last year. I'll probably keep doing it for a little bit yet. And I invite you to go over there to my Facebook personal page for those reflections. Many people respond in beautiful ways, and I'm so grateful for that. It's another place where we can build a relationship. And I'm not just looking at the garden right now as I do in some of those pictures, but I'm sitting in the garden. And I'm surrounded, you may be able to hear them, I'm surrounded by a large family of quail. I'm surrounded by some very brave cardinals, and I even had a roadrunner walk through the yard, which is, a little bit of a symbolic, exciting thing for me. Hummingbirds are active. One came and buzzed me just a little bit ago. They're all over the place. Everything is busy and alive and active. The flowers are facing the sun and drinking it in. And it's a beautiful place to come and reground and feel a little more tethered to Mother Earth while also being warmed by Father Sun. We're in a world right now that's turned on its head, and maybe not any more so than it's ever been, but we have the internet now and countless media outlets that give us all kinds of information 24/7 about what is and isn't happening and who's doing what, and put their spins on it and how terrible this group is or that group. And it's hard not to be impacted. It's hard not to be caught up in fear, doubt, and concern. It's hard not to want to just hole up in our own comfortable environments and be left alone. And it's also hard to imagine when things are happening, on the other side of the globe, how we can make a difference, really. So for me, though, that leaves me sitting in questions, because I do want to be useful, make a contribution, care about those things. So what are the right answers for me where I am in this idyllic space, in this sanctuary? And the first thing that comes to mind for me is about my 5 guiding principles, is about putting relationships first, really caring about the other, making an effort to learn both about what am I feeling, what am I sensing, what am I thinking, and challenging myself sometimes or honoring that other times, and then also being curious, like what are you thinking? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? What are they, those people are on the other side of the world, thinking, sensing, and feeling? Endeavoring to know, being curious. And that leads to my second guiding principle, which is keep the lines of communication open and get good at it. And a place to start is to ask a question and then just be quiet and really listen. I've been getting a lot of practice with that with my son, who's living with us now, and we commute with him back and forth, or with my husband as we're transitioning into different stages of our lives, or with friends with whom I communicate regularly and we don't always agree, or with extended family members, for example, who have completely different religious or political views. But we've made the relationship more important than those views and our differences. It takes some effort, and it's doable if we're committed to putting relationships first and keeping the lines of communication open. And a big thing that helps with that is to begin in love, to make love the most important thing, which is guiding principle number 3. If I really hold myself accountable to that, then what would be different? What changes? What does that require of me? And I have people in my life with whom I have conversations about this regularly. And we hold each other accountable, not just in concept, but in practice. It's rigorous. It's not always fun. It's not always convenient. It's not always easy. And it's very satisfying. Sometimes along the way and always on the other side of the challenge, the friction, the rupture, the invitation to grow. And there's a lot of things going on right now in the world that none of us would want to actually have make any sense. I mean, we'll try to have them make sense through our history books and through our psychological inquiries, and on some level they might. That never makes them okay. So we're back to guiding principle number 4, make meaning regularly and often. Perhaps what's more important is to get clear about what's trying to happen here. What does each of us want on some core level, underneath the land grabs or anything else? Underneath the greed, underneath the power, used poorly. At the core of our being, what do most of us who are not psychopaths, who are not, in some very small vocal minority trying to maintain the status quo, what do most of us want? And what I hear people say is to be able to make a difference, to contribute to other people's lives, to be of service, to feel calm, to have more freedom, peace, to be accepted as I am for who I am. And if you don't prefer the things I am, that's okay, just leave me alone, What do I want? Love, intimacy, joy, ecstasy? What do I want? What do you want? If we got to the core of those questions and we defined what we want in terms of what we want, not in terms of what we don't want, a lot of magic could happen. We could even, together, bring peace to this planet. And then that final guiding principle, create a purposeful life. Well, what if that were our shared purpose? To bring more love, joy, ecstasy. Instead of creating intimacy by bonding on our wounds, what if we bond on our strengths? What if we bond on our shared vision? That's one of the things that Martin Luther King helped us do. He shared his dream, and many of us acted on it. So did Gandhi. So did Hildegard of Bingen. So what do you want? And let's create a life built around that. Using our power well, not at anybody's expense, just being powerful and vulnerable and loving and joyful and honoring that we have a beast and a beauty within, and making choices that allow their expression as a force responsibly, out of care and regard and love for one another. That's what's possible here. So thank you. Thank you for being with me on this journey, for letting me share my 5 guiding principles, and for being part of this conversation. I hope you take it with you to others, or that you take it with you into your dreams, and that you consider how you can make these important in your life, or what are your guiding principles? What's your leadership point of view? How do you want to show up in the world? What's the impact you want to have just by being you? Thank you for being here, and thank you for being you.